Hi, boys and girls. This is Mr. Yates and Ms. Garcia again. We are both together here going over the Monday Spiral Math for March 30th. What I want to make sure that you're doing is checking your Spiral Math along with us. Once you're done checking, just like at school, I want you to write down anything that you made mistakes on. And also, if you made any errors, label them. So whether it's a calculation error, a reading error, or any of the other errors that we have, just make sure you write those down. You won't turn this in, but what I want you to do is after you're done, I want you to save it because you may need it for later Spiral Math or math homework, and you'll be like, oh, I remember doing that problem. Here I can go look at my Spiral Math, and I can bring it back up and use it. Also, I want you to fill out a survey when you're done with this. It's on the agenda about how well you did on the Spiral Math. Did you get 100%? Did you get less than 100%? What were your mistakes? And do you need any help? It's important that you fill out that survey so Ms. Garcia and I know how you're doing with your Spiral Math. You don't have to take a picture of your Spiral Math and send it to us. We want you to mark up what you did and then fill out the survey to let us know. Let's go ahead and get started right now. I'm going to start off with the very first one. First of all, boys and girls, you don't have to have lined paper, but it does help us to check, or it does help to check our work when we have answers on one side and work on the other side, just like we always do. That's how Ms. Garcia and I are going to write down our Spiral Math so that you can compare it to ours a little bit easier. Now, the first question that we have is, what is the fraction as a decimal? And we really don't need any work on this side. I'm just going to write it in as a decimal. I'm going to put a 0, and I'm going to put a decimal. I'm going to put 8, and I'm going to put another 0 for, oh, wait a minute. Is it really 80 thousandths, Ms. Garcia?
No, I actually got 800.
Ooh, you know, I made a mistake here. And I'm going to put reading error because I should have actually been reading better on this and put down the correct answer. I looked at it and didn't see that extra 0, so I made a reading error. So it's okay to make mistakes. So I'm going to change that. And Ms. Garcia, what was the correct way to write that?
So I put 0, and then I put my decimal, and then I put another 0, and then I put the 8 to where it's 800.
Right, or 8,000, yeah, and then I put the 0 right here to show that it's 80 thousandths or 800ths, which is the same thing. So you can have the extra 0 there, or you can't. It doesn't matter. Okay, Ms. Garcia, do you want to go over the second one?
All right, so number 2 says, which quadrilateral has 4 right angles? And then it says, next, draw a picture of the shape you chose. So I said rectangle. So I said the quadrilateral that has 4 right angles is a rectangle.
And I'm going to make sure that I write down a whole answer sentence, the quadrilateral. And you can go over to your work site if you need to. Make sure you have the word quadrilateral. Make sure you have 4. Make sure you have right. Make sure you have angles in your sentence. And what did you say was the run that should be there?
I put a rectangle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anything else that should be?
Oh, sorry. It says, next, draw a picture of the shape you chose. So on this one, I just drew my rectangle, and then I put 4 of those right angle, those little right angle squares to show that it's a right angle. And to show that it's 90 degrees, because that's what a right angle does. It shows that it is 90 degrees.
Great. All right. On number 3, it says to locate the naming point of 1, 5. So when I go across and I look, I go to 1 and I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like the point is E. Do you agree with that, Ms. Garcia?
That is what I put as well. Because remember, boys and girls, my little saying, you cut the grass and then you let it grow. So always start with your X, which is going to be going from left to right, and then you do your Y, which is up and down.
All right. What are we doing for number 4?
All right, let me see. It says classify the quadrilateral based on its attributes. How do you know? So I said that this one was a rhombus. I said the quadrilateral, based on its attributes, I said the quadrilateral was a rhombus.
Okay, I'm going to go and write that out. The quadrilateral is a rhombus, and I'm checking my spelling. Did I get everything okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, what else do I have to do here?
And then it says, how do you know? And I said, I know because all 4 sides are congruent, which means they're the same size as well as the same shape.
And if you really wanted to add a bonus, I would think you could also say that they have, and it has 2 sets of parallel lines.
It's very true. I didn't put that one, but that's also correct.
All right. I'm using some small paper here, so I'm going to have to flip over after this, but I'm going to just use as much as I can. So I have number 5. And it looks like that we're dividing on this one. And I put in Shakes the Unicorn. And why do you think we put Shakes in there? Because I want you to divide neatly, and I want you to turn your paper sideways, boys and girls. Shakes is there to remind us that that still applies even though you're home. This way you're going to avoid a lot of tragic dividing errors. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to take and make my dividing box. And boys and girls, really make sure that you're doing the same thing that Ms. Garcia and I would do with this one. Make sure that you're doing it neatly so it's easy for you to read so you can check your work easier. So if you don't get the right answer or the same answer that we do, you can check your work to see what happens. I'm going to put my 28 over here as my divisor. My 588 is my dividend. And Ms. Garcia, could you walk us through, because I don't have it written down, I just want to make sure I don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, so 28 cannot go into 5, so I put like a little X as a placeholder. Yep. But 28 could go into 58 twice. And when you multiply 28 by 2, I got 56. And then when you subtract 58 minus 56, I got 2. And then from there, I drop down my 8. And 28 goes into 28 one time. And then I just did 28 times 1 is 28. And then I subtracted and I got 0. So my answer was 21.
Okay, and you can write it like this. 588 divided by 21 equals 21. Oh my gosh, did I make a copy error? Yes, I did.
Yes.
It happens to us all, boys and girls. 588 divided by 28, and my quotient is 21. Great. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move over to my back side of my paper. Again, make sure that you're labeling your work with numbers so that we know, you know what problem you're working on and which one you're going to be checking. Ms. Garcia, can you tell us what we're doing for number 6?
All right, so we are going to be classifying the quadrilateral based on its attributes. And it says, how do you know? So I'm pretty sure I did this one. I think I got this one wrong, actually, looking at it. But I put a parallelogram, but I'm realizing that a parallelogram has all sides. It says, no, wait, opposite sides are congruent and parallel. No, wait, that's correct.
You are correct. Yeah, it is a parallelogram.
All right, so I put the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Because a parallelogram, boys and girls, is a quadrilateral with opposite sides that are both congruent and parallel. So congruent means that they're the same size and same shape, and then parallel means that they will never intersect.
Okay, that might turn around. So, because opposite sides are congruent and parallel.
Correct.
Now, your sentence could be a little different, but you really need the words opposite sides and congruent and parallel in there, boys and girls, to make sure it's correct. It might be read a little different, but as long as you have those key words, opposite sides, congruent, and parallel, and you have the word parallelogram, that answer is correct. And just a reminder that the no verb, the feisty pet, will get feisty if you don't show your work. Now, boys and girls, for number 7, it's asking us to classify the triangle based on its sides. Be careful, there's a right angle symbol here, and it's a trap. We want to find out what the sides are, not the angles. So taking a look at this, we know that this is got, all the sides are different. So because they're different, we're going to call it a scalene triangle. It is a scalene triangle. And I really want you to make sure you have the word scalene spelled correctly. You also need, because it did ask you, how do you know? I want you to put, and you can just say, because. And the reason it doesn't have any side, it's a scalene triangle, is because it has no equal sides. Or you could say that the sides are not congruent, or you could say that no two sides are the same. Anything like that's going to be fine. The big thing here is that you remember the scaling and that the sides are not the same. Ms. Garcia, you want to finish this up with number 8?
Yep. So number 8 says estimate by rounding. Then, so this one has several steps. So it says next actually multiply the numbers. And then it says what is the difference between your estimated product and the actual product? So is how I rounded the 957 to 960. Because boys and girls, when it says estimate by rounding, you want to make sure that you're rounding before you multiply. So then I round 8 up to 10.
And I don't have to do that. I can just do that in my head.
Yep. So then that gives you 9,600. So then that was my product for my rounding. And then it asked to actually multiply the numbers. And when I multiplied them out.
Let me go ahead and show my work, Ms. Garcia.
Yes.
Okay. What did you get when you multiplied it out?
I got 7,656.
Okay, so this is the actual product.
Oh, well, I must have made a calculation error somewhere.
Oh, isn't that what
I
I
got?
wrote?
656.
Oh.
Oh, wait, let me double check. I have a calculator. So it's 957 times 8, 7,656.
Oh my gosh, did I make a calculation error, Ms. Garcia?
So
I
8
did.
times 7, and yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put calculation. Let's put calculation error. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write this out carefully so I make sure that I do it. So 7 times 8 is 56. 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 5 is 45. And what I did is I carried a 5 instead of a 4. So now it makes more sense. That was Mr. Yates making a calculation and a copy error. And I'm glad you're here to help keep it real, Ms. Garcia. So let's go ahead. And this is really the actual product.
Yes. So then that's your product when you actually multiply the numbers. And then it asks us to find the difference between your estimated product and the actual product. So I took 9,600, which was my estimated product. And I subtracted our 7,656.
And what do we get when we subtracted that?
I got 1,944.
Okay, 1,944. And that's our difference.
Yep.
Now, boys and girls, your estimate can be different than Miss Garcia's estimate, so your difference may be different. However, when you're estimating, make sure that you remember that you estimate, this is the one time you do it in your head. So if you had to multiply this one out, it wasn't a great estimate. So make sure you do that as an estimate in your head. If you have any questions about today's spiral math, email Miss Garcia or Mr. Yates, and we'll help you out and see where you need some help. If you are done, I want you to then go ahead and fill out the survey about how you did on the spiral math, because we'd both like to know. And we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.